Before we begin the podcast this week, I have to let you know the big news as promised last week, and those who already follow us on Learn Irish Online at Instagram and YouTube and TikTok will have already seen. But now the 7-week Level Up course is now available on learnirishonline.com. This is by far and away the most comprehensive, most detailed and biggest course we've ever created. The whole idea is that we guarantee after 7 weeks of this course, you'll feel significantly more confident in speaking, understanding, writing and reading as Gaeilge. As always, with all the courses on learnirishonline.com, there's a 5-day money-back guarantee. If you're in any way unhappy with it within the first 5 days of purchase, you give us an email, no questions asked, you get your money refunded. And it is lifetime access. You can do the course as many times as you want. It's completely self-paced as well, so if you want to do it in slightly less than 7 weeks or spread it out over the course of a few months, you can also do that. This course has basically everything I've learned as a teacher over the last few years while I've been teaching lessons 101 to loads of different people around the world, but also while I've been creating content and immersed really in the Irish language community over the last 24 to 36 months. So I really hope you enjoy it. It is now available on learnirishonline.com, and if you check the description of this podcast, you'll find all the links necessary. If you have any questions or not sure if it's for you, you can give us an email over at liam.learnirishonline@gmail.com or a message over on Instagram at learnirishonline.
You've been the best of times, you walk me through my darkest days. Why must I turn around? I ask myself, it's just ain't fair, so hard to bear. I'm not really sure these days, you walk away, you talk away, hard to bear.
Fáilte Arash, Chuig on show, Gaeilge Weekly, Agron Iver Octoshay, the 86th episode of Gaeilge Weekly. If it's your first time listening, Mas Rudé Gwyl say seo mar an chéador óhfuil tú ag éisteacht leis an bud. Seo Gaeilge Weekly, tagan sé amach gach Céadaoin every Wednesday ag a cathair clog on Nahéireann, Irish time le trí leagan sa friúil leagan amháin an Gnáthleagan le Gaeilge líofa, Gaeilge nádartha, natural fluent Irish. An dar leagan, sé an leagan seo, so that's this version, le Gaeilge beaganaí níos simplí agus níos moille, simpler and slower, agus cúpla focail an seo is an siúd here and there I mBéarla in English. Agus freisin tá an leagan I wadní simplí an leagan dá cheangach, the wadní simply the way easier, way simpler, or also bilingual version, deirtar gach as Gaeilge agus freisin I mBéarla. So everything is said in Irish and in English. So fáilte romh, Mas Rudé Gwyl tú ag éisteacht don chéador, no Mas Rudé Gwyl gach episode, J Gaeilge Weekly clustad. If it's the case that you've listened to every single episode of Gaeilge Weekly, fáilte romh freisin cóh ma as well. Conas atámuid, because how are we doing? Tá gach rud go ma, an seo is sa bhéile. Ní cheapan gwyl mór an nuacht agam, nó gwyl mór an rudaí áthraithe, mar a thuúla sibh beidir ag tús an fud céile. Tá an course an 7-week Level Up course a níos Déanta agam, agus ó thaobh like percentage from a personal kind of point of view, tá mé feabhas gwyl sé creighní ar nói, tom sásta go mai daoine an cuasa úsáid agus le cúna dé carói sé le a lán daoine chun feabhas a chur ar a good Gaeilge to improve their Irish agus by a lán daoine le cúna dé, hopefully in an taitneamh agus tarbha a bhaint as an gcomsa. Hopefully a lot of people will be able to really enjoy and benefit from the course ach freisin. Ó thaobh percentage just tá mé sásta gwyl sé creighní mar le 7 nó 8 seachtain na nús bhí mé anna gnóthach ag olbhú rudaí agus ag crothú an chomsa, really preparing and creating the course. Bhí sé deacradam chun é sin a dhéanamh, chun an méid sin ama a chur isteach. So rud sin, it was difficult for me to put that much time into that thing, into the course. Acanis tom sásta gwyl sé creighní go mai beaganaí níos mó ama agam, níos mó ama sir, agam chun rudaí difriúla a dhéanamh agus nach mai a bheith I gcónaí dírithe isteach that I won't have to always be focused in on tain rud seo, this one kind of only thing by min on saying the ruddy difriúla, ruddy mBéarla learn Irish online, things related to lai. What fresh and ruddy nach will buinsa le learn Irish online. Covma. So yeah, sin really cod atá siúil agam just sá stuff we sin, bhí deir seachtainna jazz agam an seo, deir seachtainna soch gnóthach. Really busy weekend an Iana bhí an pub quiz agin trán a gceist as Gaeilge for pub quiz. An pub quiz a bhíon agin gach mís every month, bíon pub quiz amháin agin, it's trán a gceist amháin agin. Take an trio Iana, den bhí the third Friday of the month, so teachtarmhna éireannach an seo, so tá sé le haghaidh an club Pelgailach. It's for the Gaelic Football Club here. Agus, yeah, gandhi bíonn sé jazz, ní matlam dulgadí an teachtarmhna éireannach sin mór an, mar you know, tá mé ima choní sa Spáin is matlam rudí níos áitiúla a dhéanamh is tócha. I prefer to do kind of more local things. Ach or bháin in aine mísa agus pianta Guinness a bheith agam agus búla le alán éireannig, well, níl alán éireannig ina gcónaí is sa bhéal really ach an chuid is mód in na héireannig atá ina gcónaí is sa bhéal beidir go mbíonn siad ag an gcórsa sin. Tá bhain sin dírithe fós an gcórsa, my mind just still focused on the course. Bíonn siad ag an trán na gceist sin ag an ná gach mí sa thuaimé an Iana bhí sé sin go jazz agus cúpla cara eáil, cúpla cara éireannach, cúpla cara Spáineach freisin, few Spanish friends as well, a play are involved with Gaelic football, cúpla cara Spáineach, tá sais buint nó Pórteach leis an gomán Pelgailach an seo. So bhí sé sin go jazz I ní formid an trí watch, we got third place ach an drochor. Ní len dúis ag an pub quiz le haghaidh an trí watch. Tá le an dara hots agus an chéad hot ach le an trí watts for rear níl aonrad. Nothing for third place, unfortunately, just pride or shame, depending on what way you look at it. Ach, nos bhí sé sin go maith, bhain mé taitneamh as sin. An sin an sathern bhfuil mé le cúpla cara eile, mar bhí imeacht siúil an seo, dar bheanam electro lunch. There was a event here in Seville called Electro Lunch a bhíon siúil. Ceapan fresh an thart gach mí nó óra in aine mísa once per month agus tá sé anhád, tá sé dachar chun míú, mar is tóchar sais kosher I rin lei. It's kind of party during the day, tusnaíonn sé ag a héin clog, creicníonn sé ag a héindeig. Bíonn sé siúil sa Fork, so it's on in a park, or a big park here in Seville. Agus, yeah, Stoker's kosher clí in a way it's a party, you know, being DJs out, agus cúpla stáitsa difriúil, a few different stages, agus ceol dance, you know, ceol dausa, ceol house, ceol techno, agus mar sinja, and so on. Ach, freshening an am cin atá lán rudaí atá Déanta níos mó le haghaidh clina. Stoker, there's a lot of things as well done more so for families, you know, face painting, no food trucks, agus rudaí le haghaidh páistí, imeachtaí difriúil, agus bíonn siad fads siúil san áit céine, so Fork shows, they all kind of happen in the same place. So few agus níl like inside segregation really. So tá tú beidir ag dul on bar le beor I the lámh, you're maybe going from the bar with a beer in your hand, agus tá tú ag siúil haar tiismóthirí le na báistí. Agus few beidir an sean hismóthirí sin freisin, you're walking past or walking through parents and their kids, even maybe the grandparents, agus iad san an sin ag buint taitneamh as an lá, agus just tá sé go hintach, tá sé an speisialta, tá sé go jazz, you know, fiú gan ní nó deithe glug, bhí tiismóthirí fós an sin le na báistí, agus bhí na DJs fós siúil agus an ceol, agus sin rud a haithníam go mórlam faoin Spáin agus gandáis, rud éige na tá difriúil idir an Spáin agus éire. One thing that's definitely different in between or in comparison, you know, Ireland and Spain. And that's ceapan orint arás an éireann agus, you know, I gcónaí is matlam rá rih rudí cosúla seo rá. I always like to say before saying things like this an bud credit, ní méid rá, tá an Spáin go hintach agus ní matlam éireann churbed nó tá rudí amhád níos fearr an seo, ní méid rá aon rud cosúil leis sin. Mar dearm I gcónaí an seo, as I always say in the show, tá buntáistí agus míbhuntáistí, tá pros agus cons ag buint le gach rud kind of associated with anything or everything. So Tá rudaí anseo sa Spáin agus tá siad níos fearr ná beidir mar atá rudaí arás in éireann. Freisin tá rudaí eile agus tá siad níos measa anseo. So just tá sé difriúil, ní mé gra bhfuil sé níos fearr ná níos measa. Ach an rud seo ar aonos, this thing ceapan is fearlam an bailach mar atá sé anseo the way that it is here. Yeah, ní bhín ceapan orintha in éireann bíonn sé like, okay, gach duine atá ina fichidí, change siad an sin, go dtí an áit seo agus déanann siad rudaí le céile an seo. So everyone in their 20s in Ireland goes here and does this thing together. Agus mas rud é gohfuil tú a chuigetí, chain tú an seo, agus mas rud é gur duine who beidir as an tua, chain tú an sin. If you're a person from the countryside, you go there, and if you're more from the city, an seo leis an grúpa seo, tá sé beagnaín níl sam fanan tú le a group a hain agus le daoine ar cóis leat, so you stay with your own group and people your own age. Ach an seo ceapan ghfuil sé bhád níos oscailte agus beidir ghfuil dearcha níos oscailte ar chuoine maidir le seo. You know, if I think of the main street here for socializing and eating and drinking, má tá mise ag smaoinmh faoin príomhshráid an seo le haid a bheith ggóil agus a bheith gaithe agus just a bheith socializing le daoine eile. Tá cúpla close sugra ar an stráid sin. There's a few playgrounds on that street. Agus fós ag an ní ag a deithe clog ornta níos déine at 9, 10 o'clock in the evening, even sometimes later. Just being páistí an sin ag sugra sa close sugra. No tá lan spás ar an stráid seo. This place is a lot of space and pedestrianised. So ornta bíonn siad ag imirt pelle fós ag a deithe clog. Agus tá sé bhád níos táisegam sa Spáin. Go generalta bín gachród ag tarlú buganí níos déine ar aonos. Everything kind of happens later in Spain anyway. Ach sin rud ceapam like ní eachtar é sin ará sin éireann agus beidir tá fáin eile le sin. Maybe there's other reasons that you don't see that in Ireland, beidir mBéarla, and I'm sure agus bín níos mó rudaí ar siúl tíomh mu. Ach tá sé go deas, you know, fós ní bhíon aon imní really ar na tiismóirí bhfuil feictar dumsa ar aonos nach mín aon imní arthú. So it seems to me like they don't really have any worry or stress bíonn siad an sin ag beidir ag ggóil rud éigean nó ag ithe duine ag an ní clog agus bíon a báistí an sin chuigam idir wathú beidir níos mó, few, maybe 50 meters away from them, maybe more, ag imirt soccer, ag imirt whatever, aon rud ag Spraoi an sin, ag sugra, sa close sugra playing away in the playgrounds. Tá si deas agus a rud céin an sin ag an imeacht a bhí ar siúil ar an sathairn an seo, electro lunch, bhí si go deas mar bhí mission an dul agus tana bhainseas an gceol mar hampla agus a bheith láirt le a chordsa. So I could go there and enjoy the music and speak to my friends agus ama cathubh lob to spend time with them. Ach ag an am céine bhí, you know, daoine an sin a bhád ní sinan am é féin, a bhád ní sógia. Bhí se an oscailte, bhí sé sir an eascán dul isteach who's free to go in. You know, bhí si go maith. So yeah, hadn't say gomorlam kind of raw. It definitely really appeals to me. I liked it, and I like that element of Spanish culture. Smatlam and Ganesh into culture in España. Nilsam and Rode thought níos cuachtaí beidir that's something's more powerful. No, ní cuachtach an foclas far. Ach nilsam and Rode níos mó sin. I'm not sure is that a bigger thing. He's on show sa jeisceart ag umproj leis an túsceart. Maybe it's a bigger thing down here in the south compared to the north of Spain. Mar tá lán Jifriochtaí stocha idir an túsceart agus an jeisceart sa Spáin. There's a lot of differences between the north and the south of Spain. Gandalsh. Ag físe sin go deas agus go deas hon a lánama a chathú le a cordsa I rihan deir shot. And I see them deir shot in sin you're nach bhfuil tú sa teach. I love weekends when you're not in the house. Tá tú dul ar thuras áit and you're going on a trip somewhere. No, tá tú búla leis an duine seo agus an sin tagan tú ras frig an tach ar fa 10 nóid, 5 nóid, an sin churn duine glíchart agus tá tú imi a ríis, someone calls you and you're gone again and you're meeting with that person and tá sé go deas, neart Spraoi ceapan mar gcónaí bime tíbhas si sa teach an chuid is mód an am I réit na seachtainna I'm always inside the house. I guess a lot of the time during the week mBéarla ma chuid zibra, mBéarla an Gaeilge because of Irish and all the different work I do around it and it's all online. Tá sé ar father Lena, so bhí sé go deas chun deir seachtainna ag sa sin a bheith am. It was nice to have a weekend like that. I guess, yeah, fun méid taithneamhas gan dós. Couple of rud module leis an sport actually around me a yeary lauert fuhu and a few things I wanted to speak about sports related today. Jigano ni matlam lauert an umarcha fuin sport air on both Creile mar Well, it's a lot on Johan, ni bhíon mé féin gafa leis an sport. Bhín mé snúcha cuineál sús some keeping up le gachro the bhín ag tarlú Formula 1 níos mó na aon rud eile sin an sport is fearr le freisin leis an soccer go pointse with soccer up until the points pel Gaeilge freisin so Gaeilge football as well like ni bhíon mé ag féchans ar gach lethe agus tá sin níos deachar chuna dhéanamh an so mar níonta an just dulgadí an teach tarbhain agus féchan sér Chelsea and Liverpool no whatever Gaeilge an idea against their shot and go against Derry at the weekends mar ni bhín sé ar siúl beidir sa teach tarbhain éarnach sin bín si ar siúl like na mé ROG áfa really an F1 sin an rud is táhatí dom agus níl sé sin well tá an séisreacht tosú go lua the season starting soon ag gceann cúpla seachtain so ag súil go mór le sin agus le tatnamh a winch as an séisir seo agus beidir go níontí mé episode 1 ar F1 ach sin an tagart seachtainúil a bhíon agin i gcónaí that's the weekly reference rather on F1 this week but yeah, one thing I want to say, and means it's not getting more coverage. Táintas an downer nachhfuil sa seo, nachhfuil níos mó daoine ag labhairt faoi seo. The more people aren't speaking about this. Agus sin an bua a bhí ag Shamrock Rovers, agus go generalta an fiachtas atá ag Shamrock Rovers no a bhí ag Shamrock Rovers go dtí seos the win that Shamrock Rovers had last Thursday and the campaign they've had up until now. Tá sé dul chreidsa. Ceapam beidir gréis seo an rud is mó atá déanta again for an soccer éarnach riamh. This might be the biggest thing that any Irish soccer team has ever done in history. So go bonasach muna bhfuil is sad if you don't know cad atá tar éis tarlú what's after happening. Well, it generally happens once every 4 or 5 years. Tarlíonn sé beidir ga ceithre nó cúig bliana cholíonn for an soccer éarnach done fása grúpa for the group stage sa Europa League no sa Conference League. So comórtas orpach is tócha. Ní Harlíonn sé go minic beidir orháin ga ceithre bliana cúig bliana na sam le 5 bliana nús over the last 20 years tá sé déanta ag Shamrock Rovers cúpla ór tá sé déanta ag Dundalk cúpla ór agus ceapan beidir Cork City or óháin. Agus deag ná sin an éacht, that's the achievement. Agus an sin trecan siad ar an fása grúpa on the group stage and sinne, ní beidir fáinne siad co-score óháin nó críicníon cluiche óháin ar co-score agus sin caiileann siad an chuid eile tena cluichí an chuig cluiche eile. They might lose then the rest of the games, the 5 other games, they have 1 draw, let's say, normally when they qualified the odd time that they do. Nor Harlíonn sé ach ní Harlíonn sé go minic. Ach im lína chalí Shamrock Rovers don Conference League agus bhuaigh siad ceapam 3 cluiche for siad co-score in 9 cluiche agus an sin cail siad cluiche amháin in Chelsea agus ar nóí tá Chelsea an a láidir ar fad. Chelsea are very, very strong altogether. Agus few and sin for Shamrock Rovers cool in Chelsea. They still got a goal against Chelsea, so it wasn't too bad. Níor se róchanna. Ach, like, adis, the gach den a gcónaí ag rá, ach, sin an éacht. That's the achievements. Níl siad chun déanú níos fearr inis. They're not going to do any better. Agus níl siad chun airí lob chun rud ag an eile bhaint amach. They're not going to manage to achieve anything else. Ach, inis tá siad sa knockout round. Agus bhí siad tarringsa in Malta. They were drawn against Malta agus bhí been gach lethe ar nóí cosú le mar bhíonn sé go minic sa soccer as it often is in the soccer. It's 2 games, the away leg and the home leg. Agus bhí an away leg acu sa Níorúa, so in Norway, ar an Déirdaoin sa Catsa. Agus bhú siad, agus tá siad an like for an soch má. Tá Malta láidir tá siad go minic sa Europa League nó sa Conference League bíon na gach séisiúr. Bhí cúpla óir ceapan beidir gá nó 3 bliana hin agus bhí Dundalk nó Cork City ag immert sin Malta sa qualification rounds sa Mouthí Cálaithe sa gomórtas céine agus cail siad go éasca 3 nó 4 nád. Ach thuaigh Shamrock Rovers an sin an Déirdaoin Catsa in fearann le óhád níos mó agad, le óhád níos mó acfuinní with a lot more resources, a lot more money, agus bhuaigh siad a híon an nád. Bhí siad dul chreidsa agus it's more in through i meán na hÉireann. So it's a big pity in Irish media nach mín na clubbanna stócha agus na fearanna an sin in the League of Ireland is sra na hÉireann sa soccer. Ní ein siad mór an ords really. They don't get much attention ón meán náisiúnta. Gan dáis fáin siad níos mó an níis ná 2 bliain ó hin 10 mbliain ó hin. They definitely have more now than 5 or 10 years ago agus gan átá bhd níos mó daoine ag dul go cluichí in éireann an níis. Tar éis COVID ná mar bhí rih COVID. More people are definitely going post-COVID than they were pre-COVID agus tá an strá ag gaiirí níos mó agus níos mó gach bliain. It's getting bigger and bigger every year. Ach, fós níl sé an level céine nó aon las congrach don level sima atá ag daoine in éireann the Premier League. So it's still nowhere near the amount of the interest levels that people have in Ireland for the Premier League. Agus tuige me sin mar, ar nóid tá an quality level ó bhaid níos fearr sa Premier League agus tá bhaid níos mó glamour ag buint leis ach domsa I mothaí, in my experience, is cuivan ag dul go cluichí Gaeilge Weekly go minic I gábhail sa 7, gábhail sa 8, beidir gábhail sa 9 freisin. Agus bhí sé go héintach, bhí sé có éasca an dul níor chosnaí ach ní chustaí an ticéad ach beidir 10 nó 5 euro ag an beidir ghfuil sé beagganí níos mó inis. There might be a bit more now, and I think I was getting the student ticket ach ní chosnaí sé níos mó ná 5 or student club must more than 20, to be honest. Agus on, cluiche soccer eá like caids an soch ord, on level is ords in éireann sochas on éireann náisiúnta, the highest level really you can play in Ireland outside of the national team. Agus te ná bín lá rudí ar siúil agus bín an match experience soch má freisin ag na cluichí agus tá sé family friendly agus mar sin an chud just mód an most of the time it's family friendly beidir bratan say an gomán. Maybe it depends on the club ach níbhail se labhairt faoi sin. And yeah, it's just really cool and it's great to see tá sé hínta chun é sin eáil gohfuil Rovers ag téanú go má agus gohfuil go mbeidh daoine timpeall na Eorpa ag fécinn ar na torthaí ag teacht amach on Conference League. The people around Europe and the fans from around Europe will be looking at results in the Conference League agus ar Shamrock Rovers like hey céad sin, who are they? Tá sé go jazz ba níos mó daoine ag tuairtá beidir ar an League of Ireland agus is sra ceart é seo agus is sra é seo le imra iontacha agus fearna iontacha agus fearna garda múla, professional teams and top players and so on. So tá sin hínta agus dúirt mé is caiith mé é sin a lua. I have to mention that today ar an bud craile mar ag only ceapam there's just so have percentage a reach from a personal point of view a reach. Ag only ceapam ag an 10 mbliana, 5 bliain in 10 years time, 20 years time by na hagraní seo phobos le fáil átagan ar an Inchline. These episodes hopefully Lacuna J will still be available somewhere on the internet. Agus by sé cool hun fécinn siar ar Rodégan a Harla sa down, Rodégan mór. Níl sam an Fragile and ROG will Shamrock Rovers, Dúireach tar éis dómh on first leg of Ukins and I molde goal sin Rodégan on a war done down. I don't know, it's not a very big thing for the world. Taken to cod at all the rogum. You understand what I mean anyway. Never even Rodégan a shield, but say simul hun fécinn trash agus like féchins no éisteacht siar agus an raumig lauert faoin rud sin céináis thuramí a bhí aga mar an rud sin agus sin rud cool faoin budcaile seo go háirthan ar táméid lauert faoi rudí níos persantas dó cad ní níos persanta, not even more personal ach just rudí maidide le mo chuid thuramí ar rudí difriúla agus ar imeachtaí difriúla. So yeah, dúirt me, what caiith me é sin a lu. I said, what, I have to mention that. Rodégan eile agus tá seo sais randomach ach beidir go mbeidh duine éigen in an like a seo a hiscin just a bit random, but hopefully somebody will be able to kind of get it or understand it is. Ceapim gur méid labhairt faoi seo ar an budcrail go mín me gafel le podcrailtí. I'm kind of really into our obsessed with podcasts agus bín me éisteacht le podcrailtí an tám ar fad. I'm always listening to podcasts ach Take ná ní fiocam podcrail arán agus bí mé éisteacht le gach episode. I don't pick one podcast and listen to every episode. Bín sin níos cosú le more like tagam ar chun éigen a haithníon lom. So I come across somebody I like, somebody I find interesting, den éigen tá simul dom. So mar hampla beidir Tommy Tiernan for example, and I think a lot of people find Tommy Tiernan interesting. I'm sure a lot of people don't as well. Tá sugam knock or tá me explain the very nice knock my Tommy Tiernan simul le gach taine ach lá daoine tá simachúb I Tommy Tiernan agus ceapan siad tá sé simul chun éisteacht leis. It's interesting to listen to him. So beidir tá me gafa le Tommy Tiernan agus téimarash ar Spotify. I go back on Spotify ag éistem le gach podcraile in ar sé. So I listen to every podcast he was in. So beidir go sé ar Jarlath Regan's Sin an tanam táir, I think Jarlath Regan, an Irishman abroad, Jarlath Regan, captain. Beidir grau sé an bud creile sin. Maybe he was on that podcast 5 years ago. I listened to that episode. Beidir grau sé fud creile Jez Bishop, éistem leis an episode sin. So bím gafla den bháin agus éistem le bíonna gach episode in a rásheet. Ach, fui láthair tá rud céin agam. Ach, le duine an a randomach with a very specific random person. They're kind of different words, but it's a bit odd. Is stocha go sib bugan éisteacht mar níl mór an simagam sa rugby. I'm not really interested in rugby. Is stocha tá níos mó simagam sa lá tá Johan. I'm more interested these days because, you know, tá Six Nations siú like fiú an sin. You know, deich mé an Gaeilge idir éire agus Alban áist first half an Scotland. Níor méid fécans an gluthe idir Sasanna agus éan churbe. No, níor méid fécans na cluicheala sa Six Nations go dtí seo. I wasn't watching any of the other games either in Six Nations up until now. Ach tá mé gafa le éisteacht le Ronan O'Gara as gach duine. Mar déanann sé a lán rudí de friúlas na meán. Tá lán agalibh Déanta aige go háirithe le 5 nó 6 bliana anuas. He's done a lot of podcasts and interviews over the last 5 or 6 years. Been kept slot aige gach seachtain nó gach mí le off the ball. He's a slot, I think a weekly or monthly slot with off the ball on Pudcraile nó show radio sport sin a bhín siúil arás in éireann. Agus tá rud ag an faoi, there's something about him. Tá sé an simúil chun éisteacht leis mar arís mar dúirt mé níl mór an simagam sa rugby. I'm not really interested in rugby. Still tá simagam sa sport. I'm interested in sport, so Marialler sin tá mé an éisteacht le bíal nach éon rud a bhainein leis an rugby an Gaeilge an amáíocht fiú, hurling to some extent, Cadaile an soccer, an F1 nói, Beidir golf má tá duine ag an simúil. You know, bheith mé an éisteacht le agalibh le Shane Lowry, mar hampla. I could listen to an interview with Shane Lowry or someone interesting like that. Ach, tá sé simúil mar nuair a bhíonn sé ag labhairt faoin rugby, is cuma really cad a dearann sé faoin rugby. It doesn't really matter what he says about their rugby. Dom sé réanús mar níl mór an simagam ann. I'm not very interested in it. Ach, like dearann sé a lán rudí faoin saoil ceapan. Nuair a bhíonn sé ag labhairt faoin rugby. He says a lot of things about life for me when he speaks about rugby. Beidir mar hampla like Kurtzer ceist faoi like Kyle tú ag an deir seachtain mar an is go leiscail tá Ronan O'Gara ag obair an is mar bhanistóir ag La Rochelle on Iran on sin so rank. He's working now as a manager at the team in France, La Rochelle, and he's had great success. So tá gairí go mór leis le cúpla bliain anuas agus sesin mar an bhanistóir an sin as he's the manager there, or as he has been the manager over the last few years. He's had some great success and is doing really well. Agus beidir go like Gurcher Kesh there, yeah, like Kyle tú ag an deir seachtaine or Kyle le Uran ag an deir seachtaine. Your team lost at the weekends an rá tú ag smuoin of an tamar fad faoi sin ar sé deachar déit agus dearann sé listen, ní rá sé go má ach nuair atá rud éigean cosú le sin críicnío or something like that's finished. Ní fiú é fécinn siar ar aríis cai tú bugur rá, you have to move on agus cai tú na ceachtaine a ólam ón rud sin agus an sin é sin a úsáids chun daoine níos fearr an chéad cluicheala. So you have to learn from the mistakes then use it for next time. Ach ní fiú é a bheith fécinn siar agus a caithfh an numarcha ama nó bheith airí bortha faoi rud éigean a tharla cúpla lá hin nó cúpla seachtain óin. So I think that's interesting. Ceapan go sé sin simúil agus sin just sampla éasca agus sampla bonusach, kind of simple example a bhí an aige ach dearann sé a lán rudí cosú le sin. He says a lot of things like that, or a lot of interesting things I think that you can take and use in your own life. A lán rudí simúla gur féidir leat tógáil agus úsáids a bhain has tú de héal hain. So tá sé anna simúil dom sé réanús éisteacht le Ronan O'Gara agus daoine cosú leis agus arís ba mé gafa le Ronan O'Gara ar fáil beidir cíci seo and I'll be obsessed with Ronan O'Gara and this different stuff for a fortnight maybe agus in níos sin buci mé rá go duine cumláns ar friúil. I'll move on to someone completely different. Beidir Far Green, maybe a comedian. Beidir duine éigean buinte le sport eile. Níl sam, I don't know. So I like that. I like getting really deep into what someone has to say. Is matlam bheith gairí níos divne agus níos divne, deeper is deeper. Máilte le cadatá le rá ag duine éigean agus tá lán ceapan gur féidir leat a lán rudí ólam as daoine difriúla ag déanú rudí difriúla. You can learn a lot from different people doing different things. Ach tá sé níos éasca éisteacht le daoine agus éisteacht leis na scéalta atá acu más rud é go bhfuil na scéalta buinse le rud éigean ó bhfuil sim agat ann. So it's easier to listen to those stories if those stories are connected or relate to something you're interested in. So arish been misheag leiv along Dirashnashi oh Bradley Sport. So I read a lot of autobiographies from sports people or sports stars. Agus ní hé sin le ROG will make gafa leis an sport I féin. That's not to say I'm obsessed with sport itself. Ach tá sé bhain níos éasca dumsar énos rud ag an a leiv, má tá sé buinse leis an sport, mar, you know, tá sim agam sa sport, ní mé gafa leis an sport, I'm not obsessed with sport, but I like it for sure. Agus tá mé an na ceachtainna faoin saoil, na ceachtainna generalta, the lessons about life or the general lessons, tá mé an iad a ólam agus iad a hiiscin sin níos fearr mar sin is tócha. So yeah, sin é, guys, sin é don teachtain seo ceapam ar nóid tá seachtain na Gaeilge ag teacht aníos ag gceann cúpla seachtain, so ag tanú go mór le sin. Níl saman mai mór an difriú le really agin ag learn Irish online. I don't know will there be too much difference at learn Irish online. Beidir gnéon hí muid rud nó go. I'm kind of worn out from the course now to me. Yeah, to my dovdóid sé tréis an gcomharsa a chríichnús tá mé géirí mar scíal ag an spioganaí níos mó maidse leis an obair. I want to just chill out a bit more in relation to work now. Fra Tamil. Ach, yeah, beidir gnéon hí muid rud nó go agus de ná. Ní bhíon méid leabhart ar churbe faoin Gaeilge í féin, so I don't speak about Irish, the language itself, ar churbe I rith na bliana ar an bud cruile seachas ar agrán amháin agus sin an tagrán a churmid amach ar cheachtain na Gaeilge. So ceapan gnéon hí muid é sin arís I mlína. Tá seach na Gaeilge ag tosú ar an géad lá sa bhí mórta agus ba sé críicnú ar lá é le porc. It'll be finishing on St. Patrick's Day. So má tá sim agat rud ag an dhéanamh tá sagam go bhfuil neart ólas. There's plenty of information ar lína maidir le seachtain na Gaeilge agus imachtaídir friúla agus gníomhachtaídir friúla different events and different activities ar siúil I mlína in Éireann agus ar lína in Ireland and online. #SNAG25 fithe cuaig peartam ra. Ach sinne, gur míle mágad, guys, as a bheith ag éisteacht an teachtain seo. Tá mé fearmhaoich, mar is gnách. I'm very grateful as always. Lear me live on teachtain seo hugan. I'll speak to you guys next week. Slán agus Bannacht.